Join me today on Dessert First while I show you how to make an easy spinach and mushroom frittata. Coming up next. Hello and welcome back, friends. If you're new to my channel, my name is Andrea and this is Dessert First. Now typically on this channel I will do a dessert recipe on Fridays and then usually throw in a savory dish about once a month. And then I started adding videos on Thursdays. It was Tuesdays and it's Thursdays now. So right now I'm just kind of doing a series of breakfast items, so it'll probably be for a couple of weeks or something like that. So, and today I'm going to show you how to make a frittata. Now, I find that a frittata is kind of like a lazy omelet because you kind of get the same aspect of an omelet. It's just you don't have to try to flip it and fold it and all that and crack it. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to make a frittata. It's super easy, super quick, and I'm going to make one that's just like enough for maybe like a larger eater or maybe two people, and you can just multiply this by however many people you're feeding. So all right, let's get started. All right, so I have some spinach. So I'm gonna, actually my frittata, I'm gonna use 2 eggs. So it'll be a small amount. I have just a small saute pan. This is a 8-inch saute pan that we'll use. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And then I've just rinsed some spinach and tried to get as much of the water off of it as I could. Sometimes you can use a paper towel to kind of pat it to try to get some of that off of there. Because we're going to put this into a hot pan with some oil, so you want as little water on there, otherwise it's going to pop and burn you. So most of that is off of there. And this, I didn't measure this, I just did a big handful. And don't worry about it if you think, oh, that's just way too much spinach. It's going to cook down to just a little bit. So this is just a really good handful. If I put it in a measuring cup, it'd probably be 2 cups, give or take. So, and then we're also going to add some mushrooms. Now I have some baby portobello mushrooms, and I've just kind of wiped them off to clean them. I've got 3 here. I've popped the stems out, so those are really easy. If you've not worked with them before, just push the stem this way and it'll just pop right out. So I'm just going to slice these, and we don't want them super thick, but we don't want them real thin either. So, just about like that. So that's probably about 1/4 of an inch. You don't really want them any thicker than that. I might have too many here, so. And you can use whatever veggies that you would like in a frittata. I think that 1 is going to be plenty for the size of frittata that we're going to have. So I'm going to set these to a side. Now we're also going to use some garlic. I've just got a jar of minced garlic here. And let me grab my eggs. So we're just going to crack a couple of eggs in here. We're just going to give these a whisk, and then I'm just going to add just a splash of milk. You can use whole milk, skim milk, almond milk, or any other plant-based milk that you would like. I've made this with almond milk many times, so we're just gonna go just a splash. So that's probably only about a half of a tablespoon. It doesn't really need much. Okay, and then we're gonna add a little bit of salt. And I'm not really measuring anything here. So this is about maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. You just need a little bit. And then, all right, and then we're just gonna add some black pepper, just depending on how much you like. You can omit that if you don't like black pepper, but I just think that it adds a little bit of seasoning. Okay. So I'm going to use, and I'm going to move you. So I'm going to turn the fire on under my saute pan. I'm going to put it on medium. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to get that hot. All right, so the oil is hot. You can see that it's smoking a little bit. So we're going to take our spinach and just toss it in there. And it's almost there, so I'm going to go ahead and add our mushroom. I'm going to add just a drop more of oil. There we go. Some garlic. So that's about probably a tablespoon of garlic minced. So I'm just going to add that. And we want to mix that because your garlic will tend to burn pretty quick. There we go. And I'm going to turn this heat all the way on low. And then I'm going to pour the eggs. Over it. Okay. And I don't want to stir this up much. I just kind of want to make sure everything is in. So I'm going to turn the heat off, and then I'm going to pop this into the oven. Probably we're going to check it at about 10 minutes, and then we'll see where it's at and go from there. All right, so our frittata is done, and I actually took it out at 9 minutes. So if you add a little more milk to yours, you might need to let it go for the 10. And of course, if you're making a bigger batch with more than 2 eggs, then it's going to take longer to cook. So I just pulled it out. It's still hot. I did run my spatula kind of around and make sure I could loosen it up. And one thing I like to do is just add a little bit of butter. I just like butter on my eggs. I just think that it just I don't know, just makes them taste better. So we're just gonna put a little butter on there, let it melt. So maybe that was maybe a half a tablespoon. And then if you want, you can add some cheese to it if you would like, or you can just eat it without cheese. You know, if you're really looking to cut calories, you may not want the cheese. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of cheddar on there. And the reason I didn't put it in, I just didn't want it to, cheddar tends to break really easy, so this way you can just add a little bit at the end, and it's still hot enough that it'll melt your cheese. So, all right, so that is how quick and easy it is to make a frittata. You're gonna get your protein and some vegetables. You could add meat to that if you wanted to, but it's really not necessary. With the baby portobellos, you kind of have that meaty kind of texture anyway. So, all right, well, I hope you enjoy this recipe. Till next time, friends.